April 8, 1943, 27,000 feet above Caen, France. Through the crystal canopy of his Focke-Wulf 190A5, Oberleutnant Rolf Hermsen couldn't hide his smirk. The veteran ace of JG-26 watched the ungainly silhouettes climbing slowly toward him. "Looks like flying milk bottles," he said to his wingman, laughing at the sight of the new American fighters, the Republic P-47 Thunderbolts. Below, 16 P-47S from the 4th Fighter Group were clawing for altitude. Their two 000 horsepower Pratt and Whitney engines groaned against the heavy fuselage. German pilots used to sleek Messerschmitts could only laugh. But what Hermsen didn't know was that he was watching the arrival of the machine that would soon destroy the Luftwaffe's air power. The P-47 Thunderbolt was unlike anything the world had seen. Inside its wide wings sat 8 Browning .50 zero-caliber machine guns, firing more than 6,000 rounds per minute, enough to cut an enemy plane in half in 2 seconds. That morning, Major Don Blakesley of the 4th Fighter Group saw the Germans forming up for attack. A seasoned veteran, he told his men, "This isn't a Spitfire. You don't turn fight in a jug. You use altitude, weight, speed, and those guns." The Thunderbolt was born in crisis. In 1940, as France fell, Republic's engineer Alexander Kartveli was ordered to design a high-altitude interceptor. What he built was a monster, big, loud, and brutally strong, powered by the massive R2800 engine and a turbo supercharger that kept its full strength even at 27,000 feet. A perfect weapon for an industrial war. Training pilots for the Thunderbolt was brutal. The aircraft was heavy on the ground, easily over-torqued and prone to ground loops. New pilots often called it a bear on takeoff, but once mastered, it was unstoppable. At first, the German jokes seemed true. The P-47 couldn't turn with a Focke-Wulf 190, nor climb with a Messerschmitt 109 at medium altitude. Losses were high, and British observers joked that the best way to dodge an enemy in a Thunderbolt was to unstrap and run around the cockpit. It was that big. But soon, pilots noticed something extraordinary. Even when riddled with bullets, the P-47 came home. Engines took hits, wings were torn. Yet the plane stayed airborne, and when those 8 guns struck back, German fighters didn't just crash, they exploded. June 26, 1943, over Lille, France. Lieutenant Robert S. Johnson's P-47 was shredded by German fire from 16 Focke-Wulfs. The canopy was shot to pieces, oil covered his goggles, panels burned. Hit in the leg, Johnson tried to bail, but the damaged canopy jammed. Trapped and bleeding, he aimed the dying jug toward England. A lone German fighter approached and opened fire again. Cannon shells ripped through the fuselage, then machine guns. Still, the plane refused to die. Out of ammunition, the German pulled alongside, shook his head, saluted, and flew away. Johnson landed at Manston with over 200 holes in the airframe. The P-47 had brought its pilot home. From that day, even the Luftwaffe began to fear the jug. By the summer of 1943, American pilots had learned the Thunderbolt's language. Colonel Hubert Zemke told them, "Don't turn, don't climb low, dive, strike, and zoom away." From 30,000 feet, the P-47 could dive at 500 miles per hour, faster than any German plane could follow. August 17, 1943, Schweinfurt-Regensburg. Thunderbolts ripped through formations of twin-engine Bf-110S that were hunting B-17 bombers. A German gunner later said, "It was not being shot down, it was being destroyed." When 8.50 calibers converged at 300 yards, the effect was pure annihilation. Nothing could survive the jug's firestorm. By fall, altitude decided the war. German engines gasped above 25,000 feet, but the P-47's turbo kept full power to 30,000. On October 8, 1943, ace Hans Philipp was intercepted high over Bremen. The Thunderbolts dove like hawks. Philipp's Focke-Wulf exploded in mid-air. Even Germany's best were being hunted. In early 1944, a new paddle blade prop gave the jug better climb and acceleration. Pilots said the sound changed too, a deep, menacing thunder that German troops learned to fear. With drop tanks, the P-47 could escort bombers deep into Germany. And when the P-51S took over escorts, the Thunderbolts turned to ground attack, a role they dominated with bombs, rockets, and relentless gunfire. By D-Day, more than 500 P-47s filled the skies over Normandy. German pilots called it the American sky. Columns of vehicles vanished under .50 caliber fire and rockets. Even the deadly 88mm guns could not catch them. In the Pacific, the Jug proved just as deadly. It could take damage, fly long missions, and bring pilots home. Japanese ace Saburo Sakai called them monsters that ignored our guns. By 1945, the outcome was clear. 15,000 Thunderbolts had been built. Factories worked day and night. Germany was running out of fuel, planes, and veterans. The P-47 entered the war as a joke and ended it as the hangman of the skies. The thunder had spoken, and at last, the sky belonged to America.